Here we have Securement Silo Theta, which is northeast of Blackfell in the Red Sands area. I'll also show the puzzle for the Seepage Zone, which can be a little tricky if you haven't figured out how to do it yet. Then I'll have that in the chapter markers. You can feel free to skip ahead now. For the rest of you, sit back and I hope we'll have a little fun together. We want to be proceeding until we hit a room that has egg sacs in the water, and that'll be your cue that you are in the generally correct area for the Seepage Zone. This area here is a bit more windy than some of the other ones. It can be a little easy to get lost. Also, so far, a lot creepier than some of the other ones I've been in, and I'm here for it. Wow, that was a total miss. Yeah, that's not creepy at all. One of the things, if you've, by now I would imagine this isn't your first silo, but you do want to be trying to loot as much stuff as possible, because you never know what you're going to find. Trash cans often have some of the best loot in these places. Plus, there can be cards that you need, and some of them to get you into rooms that you otherwise won't be able to, say, get to the Seepage Zone or get to the final boss unless you get the card from inside this dungeon or the silo, or sometimes you can get them outside, but usually if it's required that you have a card to proceed, there will be one inside. So that's why I mentioned that you want to try to loot as much as possible as you're going through. Now, these egg sacs, you can see the objective just updated for me. So this is where I was referring to earlier. This is also how I know that I'm approaching the room in which the Seepage Zone is going to be. Those egg sacs, you know you're in the right area. This is where you want to be heading. And the key to the Seepage Zone is these statues here. In order to get in, you have to rotate them. And in order to actually be able to fight the boss that spawns in the Seepage Zones, you need to rotate them. So now you can see I've entered the Seepage Zone. Before I move on, I'm going to heal myself up. Gotta love Festering Gel for both healing and sanity cleansing. Now this is where I was saying it can be a little tricky. You can see in the reflection there's an enemy. That's actually just in the reflection. He's not on the ceiling. He doesn't actually, I don't know that he even exists technically in this plane yet. And so what you want to be doing is checking the reflections for the statues and rotating them until the statues match the reflections. Now, I think I actually over-rotated that one. It's a little hard to tell. That one looked like it was accurate. It can be kind of hard to see exactly. Okay, so he's got the thing in his hand pointing towards me. Is that accurate? I think one more. All right, I think that's the top arm facing me. It's his back facing me, actually, so let's do that. Yeah, there it is. Okay. The thing in his hand, again, facing my direction. This one face in this direction, and this should do it. There you go. So now you'll see very cool effect there, and it's basically just as straightforward as killing him now. And you can see he has a lot of health You want to be shooting his glowing spots, which I'm not necessarily doing the best job of right now. But that's how you get his crits. So far, so good. And we've got him. All right, let's just mop up in here, get our loot, and we can get out. So the boss himself, I mean, I'm a little bit above level, so it's not that difficult in terms of combat. But as I mentioned before, if you don't know the trick to the statues, you might have no idea what to do. So here's some cool loot here. So now it should be fairly straightforward. The rest of this should just be proceeding through this as normal to defeat the normal boss. And I do believe that we need to rotate to get out, and there you'll see we're back in the real world, or exited the Seepage Zone. Now these things, I believe if we, no, cannot shoot them, so I'm gonna just try time this. Oh, what the hell? That's what happened. I was like, oh, let's just run through, and no, guy started spawning in my feet and stopped me from running. Not cool, dude. All right, let's give it another shot here. Now I am pretty, I'm carrying a lot in my backpack right now, so I'm not gonna have the best sprint speed in the world, and you can see there's a lot of little ledges that you can get stuck on, which is really annoying. But if you just take your time, got through it with no real difficulty. I'm just gonna run past that one, I don't really care. If it comes after me, it comes after me. Don't think I missed anything back there. Not paying attention to those things though. And the thing is, I saw them shooting and I just did nothing. I just let them hit me. So don't be like me. And here's the boss. Now, substantially more health than... Well, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. I've also got the ability where if you use a tactical item, such as a throwing knife, regardless of whether or not you hit with the tactical item, you will get a little extra damage. So that's why you see me hot swapping that. Probably a little closer to him than I need to be, so let's get some space. Oh man, I am way slow. Should have cleared my backpack out before I came in here. And if you noticed, you'll see that I've been taking quite a lot of sanity damage in here, down to about 2/3 or 3/4 health already. And I haven't really taken too much direct damage. It's really just being in this area. So you want to keep an eye on that. Oh, wow. Which is why I love my festering gel so much. Now it will just come right back, the sanity that I'm cleansing here, because I'm still in a zone where I'm getting that kind of damage. But at least it's not immediate. All right, so we've got all the crit spots. We can now lay into its main weak spot on its head. And can we kill it before it stands back up? I think we can. I should have probably gotten bullseye procced again before but there you go, still got it. All right. So, not too bad. Definitely a lot of health on that one. Definitely got to make sure that you're aiming for the right spots. Don't just try to mow it down. There are certain spots like on the knees where it will allow you to really lay into it. But as long as you keep moving and ideally have better movement speed than I did, you shouldn't have too much trouble coming in here. And then you'll get one of your last mimetic specializations unlocked, as the silos are one of the prerequisites for unlocking those. Now, probably should just loot it, but I wanted to make sure there wasn't anything else I was missing. All right, cool knife. Keeping in mind that anything you loot, you can't... Oh man, that's a lot of sanity damage there. Keeping in mind that anything you loot you can't repair, I will probably not use that very much. But I will probably still give it a try. I'm curious to see what it does. And now should just be nothing left other than to clear out the residual little goodies that you can find in containers throughout. I'm not actually seeing in this one an area where you can go that essentially takes you back to the beginning of the dungeon. There have been ones like that in the majority of the silos so far, but I've pretty much made a full sweep of this place, and it looks like the only way out is to either take the door or to leave via the menu. So just gonna do one last pass here to see if there's maybe a door that I have to activate to open. But looks like it's pretty straightforward. Just clear the room out and you are done. So thanks so much for watching. Please check out the playlist on screen now if you want to see how to do any of the other silos or any of the dungeon bosses.